for joining us. I'm Mitchell Ringos. The Thunder Bay Police Service has issued a community safety alert in relation to an apparent spike in overdose cases. Police say no statistics are available due to this alert being in real time, but say observations from frontline police and healthcare workers give reason to believe that street drugs with increased toxicity are now in circulation. They are suggesting for the public to never consume narcotics alone and to carry naloxone kits, which are readily available, but warn that naloxone may not always reverse the effects of an overdose and say to always seek medical attention. If you are concerned about drugs being sold in your neighborhood, you can call the Thunder Bay Police or Crime Stoppers. Environment North recently brought in the president of the Canadian Coalition for Nuclear Responsibility for their annual general meeting in Thunder Bay. The presentation from Dr. Gordon Edwards focused on nuclear waste and the risk it could have on this region if an underground repository is built in Ignace. Jess Clement has the details.
That green area is the area that would give an overdose in 40 seconds. So anybody standing that close to the fuel would exceed the maximum permissible level of exposure for an atomic worker.
Thunder Bay was Dr. Gordon Edwards' last stop after a 4-day speaking tour through northwestern Ontario over the past week. During the talk, he broke down exactly what radioactivity is and spoke to attendees about the risks and concerns related to radioactive waste and the proposed storage of nuclear waste in this region. Edwards says it's important for communities to be aware of how the storage of nuclear waste will affect them.
These wastes would be transported over the roads and highways for 50 years, and during all that time they are endangering everybody along the route. In fact, they cannot shield these wastes so as to prevent all radiation exposure. So even people following in their cars behind a truck will be exposed to radiation.
Environment North President Scott Harris says he hopes attendees take away from the event that their participation in opposing the storage of nuclear waste is important.
We feel that the engagement of Thunder Bay folks is really critical to the success of our project, and that is to have NWMO realize that this is not a well thought out plan, and they should be observing the proximity principle. Keep the waste as close to the point of production as possible.
Environment North will be heading to Queen's Park on May 30th to petition the Ontario Legislature to adopt the proximity principle in Ontario with regards to nuclear waste.
That's simply a principle that says that waste should be managed close to its point of production. It's widely embraced in Europe, so we're trying to bring it to Ontario. That would mean that the waste does not travel these hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, but will be dealt with near its point of production, which it's being dealt with there now in similar fashion and with a safety track record. So we'd like to see that continue.
O'Connor adds the MPP Lise Vigeois will be reading out the petition in the legislature at Queen's Park, which will allow them to meet with selected members throughout the day. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The leader of Ontario's Green Party visited Thunder Bay this week for the first time since before the pandemic. Mike Schreiner met with the local supporters to listen to their concerns and speak about solutions that the Green Party can offer. Highlighted by a meet and greet event at Goods & Co., the party's only elected MPP spoke about investing in environmentally friendly infrastructure to save energy costs and to build a sustainable future for the Northwest. The visit also included a Q&A session where Schreiner answered questions from the audience. He says there are numerous opportunities in the region with respect to the new climate economy.
Things like a mining to electric vehicle manufacturing supply chain. When we think about the opportunities in low-cost renewable energy, the ability to create jobs, retrofitting people's homes, to help people save money by saving energy, there's huge economic opportunities here. The impacts of the climate crisis are being felt, particularly in northwestern Ontario, more than other parts of the province, and so the need to invest in protecting people's lives, livelihood, property, and public infrastructure is critically important and something I'm going to continue to keep pushing the government to do.
Schreiner continued his tour around Thunder Bay on Thursday before heading back to southern Ontario. Yesterday was National Day of Mourning for workers who have been killed or injured on the job. It's a day to remember those who are no longer here and to support the ones that are, while continuing the fight for laws that improve worker health and safety across Canada. First Wesley United Church hosted the ceremony yesterday evening. Workers, labor leaders, and community members were able to come and listen to the many speakers. Workers shared their stories and the stories of those who couldn't be there themselves. NDP leader Mart Stiles spoke about the importance of continuing to fight for safer working conditions, as it is a fundamental right. Steve Mantis was injured on the job, and he expands on the importance of the day.
It's like people are saying, no, we see you, we hear you, we value you, and we want to be here to support you and join with you to prevent the same thing happening to others. So it's an emotional day for me, where we struggle over and over really to try to get our voices heard.
The ceremony concluded with a walk to the National Day of Mourning Monument, where everyone was able to lay roses for those lost, and a moment of silence was held to reflect on the future. Gateway Casinos and Entertainment have begun reopening its properties across the province after having to close them down for more than a week due to a cybersecurity incident. The company announced that it'll reopen its businesses in phases and start with its Innisfil location at 1 this afternoon. The other 14 locations are expected to follow incrementally. It is currently unknown when the Thunder Bay location will be open, but a company official said that it can be expected to open soon as the company works its way out from Innisfil. Further information can be found on the casino's website or Facebook page. The Lakehead Public School Board is honoring student support professionals for their work during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. In a ceremony held at the Valhalla, their efforts were noted in keeping students on track for their eventual return to in-class learning. A room full of school board employees gathered to extend their appreciation to colleagues who went the extra mile during the tough times of 2020 and 2021. A total of 65 staffers were presented with Trustee Character Awards. Many students still required academic supports during the pandemic, and the conditions that student support professionals worked through was unprecedented.
So the awards that were given out today were for our student support professionals who worked in person during the COVID-19 pandemic. So a number of our students with special education needs were in-person learning when the rest of the school board was virtual. We had a number of student support professionals working in person with those students.
It feels very satisfying and a little bit of humbling. I never expected that we would be getting extra awards for doing what we would consider our jobs.
Fredrickson adds that those jobs require a tremendous amount of understanding, patience, and dedication. Our Kids Count is celebrating 25 years of incorporation this spring, and to mark this milestone, the organization held a community breakfast this morning to honor its supporters. Over 100 people came out to the Victoria Inn to celebrate how far Our Kids Count has come, along with the community partners and sponsors who've helped the organization throughout its 25 years. Our Kids Count was founded back in 1996 and operated for 2 years before becoming incorporated on April 16, 1998. Since then, it has expanded its service to 4 community hubs across Thunder Bay and offers a number of programs to individuals and families. Executive Director Jackie Knuff says it's amazing to look back and see the impact the organization has made.
We have so many different programs, from walk-in counseling to food security, our Big Brothers Big Sisters program. We actually have some littles and bigs that have been together for about 16 years here today. So there's an amazing impact on the community.
It's hard to measure that, but I think we see it in the faces of our children. So when you see the happy, smiling faces and the parents being successful and enjoying their times with their children, I think the benefit of Our Kids Count is going to be in the future when these children grow up and are doing amazing things in our community.
More information about Our Kids Count's programming or future events can be found on their website at ourkidscount.ca. We're now joined by sports anchor Mike Lang. We're jumping to the series we've been talking about all week, the North Stars versus the Walleye. Last night, it was a very important game.
Yeah, Mitch, if a roller coaster was a hockey game, it was certainly last night's Game 4 between the Fish and the North Stars. We'll have that story and more coming right up.